Hi, Luli and Nani. I'm going to share my screen to do our lesson. Okay, our lesson of today is called Lesson 2, Properties of Matter, Part 2. Okay, for our vocabulary of the day, we have the word brittleness. Brittleness means in Spanish, fragilidad, the state of being broken easily or of being broken with a snap, meaning that something breaks really easily, like a glass, a window, the shell of an egg, a vase. Then we have the word combustibility, combustibilidad, the ability of a material to burn. It is a chemical property of matter. Then the word mass, the amount of matter in an object. Remember that we were talking about that everything is made out of mass. Mountains, paper, chair, even you are made out of mass. Well, of matter, sorry. Of matter, but you can measure your matter in amounts of mass. Density, densidad, a measure of how close atoms or molecules are packed together. You see that here we have low density because they are not really tightly packed, and here you have something that is high density because it's really close together. Mass, a property of matter is mass. The quantity of matter in an object is called its mass. Mass is measured in units, such as grams and kilograms. The mass of an object will be the same no matter where it's measured. It is different than weight. The weight of an object of a given mass is directly related to the Earth's gravitational pull on the object. An object's weight can change depending upon the pull of gravity on the object. A person with a weight of 70 pounds would weigh 70 pounds on Earth, but in the moon, the same person would weigh 12 pounds. You would be really light because the force of gravity on the moon, sorry, I'm gonna fix this mistake, girls. Okay. On the moon is less than that on Earth. So since we have more gravity on Earth, you weigh more on Earth. Since we have less gravity on the moon, you weigh less on the moon, but your mass stays the same, which is the amount of matter. And you measure it also in kilograms. So we would say that your mass on Earth would be 34 kilograms, for example, and on the moon, the mass would be the same, 34 kilograms. But your weight would be different. Tu masa se mantiene igual, tu peso cambia. That person would have the same mass where on the Earth, in outer space, or on the moon. You usually measure weight in pounds and mass in kilograms. But you know that in Peru, we measure weight also in kilograms. So I understand that it can be a little confusing, but remember that right now on Earth, your mass and your weight, it's the same because you're on Earth. So you would, I don't know how much you weigh, but for example, if you weigh 34 kilograms, your mass and your weight would be the same. But if you go to the moon, your mass stays the same, 34 kilograms, but your weight would be less. Density. Another property of matter is density. Density is how you measure how much mass and volume you have in something. An object with a large amount of mass, it's more dense than a same size object with a small amount of mass. And here we have an example of two balloons. You fill one balloon with sand and the other with air. Okay, the molecules in sand are packed together like this picture, but the molecules in air are spread apart like this other picture. Do you know which one's going to be more dense and which one's going to be heavier? If you said the red balloon, you were right. How do we know? Because the sun-filled balloon, it's dense. There are more molecules in there because sun is tightly packed together. So when an object is more dense than another similar object because they have the same size, they're the same object, just filled with something different, then the one that has more density, it's heavier too. Physical properties. Physical properties help us recognize different kinds of matter by the five senses. Our sight, smell, touch, hearing, allow us to distinguish between a different variety of matter. We can tell the difference between, let me move my face, between gold and silver, or between gasoline and water, because you see, you smell, you can touch and know when something is different. Another physical property is brittleness. Brittleness, as I explained the vocabulary, it's the ability of being broken easily. What happens when you throw a ball through a glass window? The glass in the window is going to break, but not the ball. Why? Because the ball is not brittle, but the window has the property of brittleness. So that's why the window breaks and not the ball. Then we have another property, physical property called solubility. It means that one kind of matter dissolves into another matter. Some materials are more soluble than others, like what happens when you mix sugar with water. But if you try to mix, I don't know, oil with water, it's not going to work because it's not soluble. There's another property called conductivity, okay? Conductivity means that something has the ability to conduct or move heat or electricity. An example of that is the metal copper. Copper is a material that is highly conductive. Both heat and electricity are easily conducted through copper. And another physical property is hardness, how hard something is. A diamond, like this picture, it's the hardest known substance, and many other minerals and rocks are compared to a diamond and given a hardness value according to a scale, the Mohs hardness scale. Hardness is the relative resistance of a mineral to scratching. So they usually use a diamond to scratch other rocks and see how hard they are. And then besides physical properties, we have chemical properties, okay? A chemical property describes how a substance acts when it undergoes chemical change. All matter has chemical properties, and some of these properties can't be seen unless the material is tested. One chemical property is called combustibility, the ability to burn. You can easily burn wood, paper, the wick of a candle. When materials burn, they combine with oxygen to produce other chemicals. There is a chemical change in the original material. Other materials have a very low combustibility, like a rock. You can't burn a rock when fire touches it. And another chemical property is the ability to rust. Rust is what happens when you leave something that contains iron outside for some time, and the material forms like this reddish brown coating on it. And that coating, like you see here, it's called rust. Rust forms when iron in the metal combines with oxygen in the air, okay? Forming iron oxide. The iron oxide is the rust, and the metal undergoes a chemical change when rust is formed. Many materials don't form rust, like plastic and rubber. Okay, that would be it for today.